Hello, today we're talking about motion blur and how easily this effect can be composited using the velocity render element from V-Ray. In this animation, the motion blur is added during the compositing stage. Let's jump into the scene. My animation is 170 frames long and the camera is attached to the arrow. I'll open the render settings and add a velocity pass. Down here, you'll see the max velocity parameter, along with another one that's currently grayed out. To set up this render element correctly, I'm going to render a single frame where the arrow reaches its maximum speed somewhere around here. Once that frame finishes, you'll notice that the grayed out parameter updates automatically to a value of 126. What we've just done is measure the maximum velocity. Let's round that number and enter it into the max velocity field. Now I'll render the final frame, check the velocity pass, and save it as an EXR file. Let's jump into Fusion. Here, I'm loading my frame and setting up a color space conversion so the viewer shows the correct colors. I'll rename this loader to RGB and make a copy of it. I'll rename the copy to Velocity. In the Format tab, I'll disable the main channels and load the Velocity X and Y channels instead. Now we're ready to create a vector motion blur node. Connect the RGB loader to the yellow input and the velocity loader to the green input, and that's it. You can now adjust the slider to get the motion blur effect you like. The benefit of this technique is artistic flexibility. You can increase or reduce the motion blur in seconds without having to re-render the entire animation. Thank you, and see you in the next one.